Tonight on Piers Morgan Uncensored, Israel at war, the uncensored debate. Mohammed Hijab is a Muslim philosopher, scholar and YouTuber whose first appearance on the show was viewed by more than 8 million people. Rabbi Shmuley Boteach has been called the most famous rabbi in America. He is the international best-selling author of Kosher Hate and The Israel Warrior. Both men are passionate, both men are influential, and they both have vehemently opposing views. Tonight, they go uncensored and head-to-head. We're bringing together two very opinionated, passionate, influential people, very opposing views, and we're going to have a proper debate, and we're going to see if somewhere there is perhaps more that we can agree on than we first imagined. So thank you for joining me, gentlemen. We tossed a coin before we came on air tonight, and actually you won the toss, and you said you want to go second.
I defer to my brother.
And the way this will work, Mohammed, we have 4 sections of this debate. And at the start of each one, you'll both get 1 minute uninterrupted to say what you want to say about each of the themed titles of each block. So you go first, and at the end of your minute, you'll hear a sound. And when you hear that, you end, and then Rabbi Shmuley gets his chance to speak. So the first theme is a simple one. Are Hamas to blame? You have a minute, Mohammed, from now.
From one perspective, Hamas started the battle because, obviously, from October 7th, even they themselves title it Tufan al-Aqsa or the flooding of al-Aqsa. But from another perspective, if you really look at it from an international law perspective, we're talking about 1967, we're talking about Security Resolution 242, in which it is actually stated that Israel is in a belligerent state because they're occupying the West Bank, East Jerusalem and Gaza. And they have been, so therefore the war has been continual for a very long time according to international law. But let's remove Hamas from the situation altogether. Let's remove them. What do you have? You have the West Bank. And what do you have in the West Bank? You have 187 children who have been put in prisons. They have been put in prisons, according to Bet Salem, without charge. You have 44 children before October the 7th that have been killed before October the 7th in just 2023 alone. So if you remove Hamas from the equation, what you have the West Bank. You remove dominance from the equation, you have the West Bank, and what do you have? You have occupation, you have settlement, which you condemned, rightfully so. You condemned that on your show. The settlement's there.
OK. Rabbi Shmuley, 1 minute to respond.
Resolution 242 in the UN doesn't mention a single thing about aggression or aggressor. That is a total fabrication, and it speaks about disputed territories. But let's be clear. The occupier of Gaza is Hamas. They won an election in 2006. Had a civil war with Mahmoud Abbas, took the Palestinian Authority officials, threw them off buildings, killed Muslims, killed Arabs. Mahmoud Abbas is afraid to go to Gaza. He's terrified of Hamas. He hasn't been there since 2007. And let's be clear, Hamas is an abomination to Islam. Sultan Salah al-Din, the greatest Muslim conqueror of all time, after whom the main artery in Gaza is named, he said that you have to allow all prisoners to be redeemed. He would never hold hostages. And remember, Islam is about fair treatment of prisoners of war. Hamas beheaded Thai non-Jewish workers. You asked in your last appearance here for real first-hand sources. I'm the first-hand source. I saw it in Kibbutz Alumim. They raped women. They had sex with dead women's bodies. They are evil, and do the right thing and call them evil.
All right, we've had a minute each. OK, we've got a passionate start. Mohammed, let me ask you about Hamas.
I want to first, before you do that, I want to commend you, Piers, honestly, because bringing me on for the second time, I have to commend you. And the fact that you actually condemned the settlements is very good. But people want to know, do you think the IDF are a terrorist organization?
No.
You don't think they're a terrorist organization? OK, well, if you look at the UN definition of terrorist organization, they say killing civilians for political gain.
So you're asking my opinion.
No, but if the UN definition, according to the UN definition, it's killing civilians for political objectives. Why are they not terrorist organizations?
Well, you've asked me a straight question. I don't think they are a terror organization.
So when you see babies like this, the ones who kill babies like this are not terrorists.
It's horrific.
So the people who kill babies like this are not terrorists.
Well, let me respond.
Yes.
Let me respond. We'll
it's not your turn.
You can both get into this. Here's my response to that. And I've thought carefully about this. I'll be very honest about my own feelings. I have a real moral quandary about this because as a father, I hate these scenes of kids being killed in Gaza. It's horrific, right? We all know it's horrific.
But are they a terrorist organisation, though?
I'm about to explain to you what I think my position is. My position is, after what happened on October the 7th, it was so barbaric, so disgusting.
So you can kill children?
Well, no, what you can do...
That's exactly what terrorists say, by the way.
Let me answer your question.
This is not a debate. This is someone else becoming the host of the show and now interviewing you. I thought we're being interviewed. Mohammed, you and I are being interviewed. You're not here to interview him.
You're going to have your chance.
Mohammed, you can put it down.
Don't make him lose control of his own show. You do this all the time. I'm not going to let it happen tonight.
All right, Rabbi, let me answer.
Please have respect for the...
No. Stop interviewing the interviewer and be respectful. And be respectful.
Let me respond.
Tell me, sorry, is it a terrorist organisation or not?
No.
Why not?
I do not believe so.
They kill civilians for political objectives.
You have to let me answer.
Go ahead.
Okay. Here's my answer to that. When Hamas did what they did, two things. One, Hamas knew exactly what Israel's response would be. They knew they would come incredibly hard back.
I don't absolve them.
Wait a minute. I'm not absolving anybody.
I'm not absolving them.
Yeah, okay.
I'm saying the West Bank is West Hamas.
I know.
West Hamas.
You have to let me answer.
You've got 44 children killed like this in the West Bank.
This is ridiculous.
Wait a minute, Rabbi Shmuley. Let me just answer you quickly.
Go ahead.
I believe Israel has a right to defend itself from after that terror attack.
But can they kill children?
Wait a minute.
Can they?
Wait a minute. Particularly after the Hamas spokesman only last week said that they want to do this again and again and again. That's an existential threat to Israel.
Why don't they fight them man to man? Man to man. Fight them man to man. Why do you have to kill children?
Wait a minute.
Why do you have to
Let me answer you, Mohammed.
Why?
Let me answer you.
Of a ratio of 100 to 1, by the way.
Let me answer you.
100 to 1 ratio.
Let me answer you.
Go ahead.
Otherwise, it's pointless.
Go ahead.
So, I agree that Israel must defend itself. I agree they have to get rid of Hamas because Hamas is wedded to an ideology of existentially removing Israel.
Is this acceptable?
Wait a minute. I'm coming to your answer.
Is this acceptable?
I'm coming to your answer.
This is not
This is not even a conversation.
Wait a minute.
Listen, I came all the way from the United States for this debate.
Let me finish.
And he will not let anyone else speak. And if that's how these shows work, no. You are rude, you are a bully, you just are trying to interrupt people. I'm going to have a chance to speak, or there's no point in doing this show. He did this last time and you allowed him to, but I won't allow him to, because I will never be bullied by a bully.
At the moment,
let me be clear.
Wait a minute. No one's allowing me to answer your question.
Go ahead, sir.
And it's this. I believe Israel has a right to defend itself.
Okay.
I agree that they need to get rid of Hamas. Who are terror groups.
In this way?
Well, here's the quandary for me morally, right?
Why is it a quandary, though?
I'll tell you why.
With Hamas, it's not a quandary,
I'll
but
tell you why.
Because
in war, when you declare war, as Britain did with the Nazis...
100 to 1 ratio.
No,
100
of course,
to 1.
There are
combatant to non-combatant ratio.
A far higher number of children in Gaza, proportionate to population, than almost anywhere in the world.
Piers,
so when they go after Hamas...
Give me a chance.
Very sadly... Mohammed, let me finish.
This is becoming ridiculous. No.
Very sadly...
You are the one who insisted on equal time. I never did, but you will not respect equal time.
I will come to you literally in 30 seconds.
He's going to ask you your question.
In 30 seconds, I'll come to you.
He's going to come to you afterwards.
Let me finish, please. I am in charge here, Mohammed. So my final point on this is, unfortunately, in war, civilians
100
get
to 1
killed.
ratio. 100 to 1 ratio.
Yes.
100 to 1 ratio.
Yes, they get killed.
No, not 100 to 1 ratio. It's an unacceptable ratio.
Get killed.
Piers, listen.
Rabbi Shmuley, in you come.
You know, Piers, can I say respectfully, and I mean this as no insult, I'm amazed that you're intimidated by this man. I feel, well, with all due respect, if I can speak,
I wouldn't bring him back if I
can speak.
And he raises a very valid question, by the way.
No, he does not, because I have, before he did this debate, he went on X on Twitter and said, I'm only doing it if there's equal time. And then he is violating that. I never asked for equal time. I just want to be heard. But he won't even let me be heard. Let me explain something to you. You said in a video the other day, and you can look me in the eye, you said that Jews are now trembling. Mohammed, I am not. No, don't interrupt me. I am not trembling. It's all on my Instagram page. Now, you see this yarmulke? It means that I represent something. I'm an ambassador. You're an ambassador of Islam. You are talking about a religion that started the world's first universities, educated women. Fatima started the first university in the 9th century in Fez, Morocco.
Irrelevant.
Now we have a man who says that he's a representative of Islam.
He's meant to be speaking to you, right?
He goes to Speaker's Corner. He speaks about whether 5-year-old girls are old enough for sex. He says that gay men are dying of AIDS as a punishment from God. And I'm sorry to have to say this to the listeners, that blood is gushing from their backsides. They're better off. You know what it is? Because you are desecrating a great world religion. Now let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it's here. Because he will defend. I will. He will defend Hamas's butchery, savagery. He doesn't care that Hamas is an abomination to Islam because Islam,
but he hasn't done
the children in Gaza are dying because Hamas uses them as bulletproof vests.
Okay.
The United States and France and England said yesterday that the Al-Shifa hospital is a military base.
Okay.
It has a tiny veneer.
Let him have his minute.
It has a tiny veneer of emergency rooms.
Okay.
Hold on a minute.
But underneath all of it is a military base.
You have a minute.
And let me tell you
Speak.
something. If it's true that any of these countries care about the Muslims in Gaza because they believe what he's saying, that Israel's killing them, this is a map of all the countries that took place last week in Riyadh to save the Palestinians of Gaza from Israel. Do you know how many? That's Israel, a tiny thing. You know how many of them took in even one Palestinian from Gaza? Zero, nothing.
All right.
Look at that map.
Let me-
because they
Stop
want
pointing,
to.
stop
The
pointing.
Arabs
Let
want
me-
to see.
all right,
No, I'm
Rabbi
pointing
Shmuley,
the
hang on.
Arabs want to
Stop
see
pointing.
Rabbi
Hamas.
Shmuley.
Stop pointing. Stop
Don't
pointing.
intimidate me. Don't bully
Okay,
me. Thank
okay,
you,
let
Mohammed.
me ask you-
Don't intimidate me.
Stop pointing.
I'm not
Guys,
afraid of
I've
you.
got to be able to ask questions.
you.
It's a debate.
Let him
Let's
have
come
one
back.
minute,
let me
he's
ask you
insistent.
one specific question which he raised, which I don't think actually is your belief. I don't think you have defended what Hamas did on October the 7th.
Yeah, I haven't.
I think you share our
Are they
view.
evil?
we-
Are they
Unless
evil?
I'm wrong.
Are they
We've spoken
evil?
about this
Are they
before.
evil?
Stop
Are
speaking.
they
Is it me
evil?
or him I'm
Are
speaking
they
to?
evil?
Stop
Rabbi
speaking to
Shmuley,
this.
Is
Stop
Hamas
speaking.
you're now
evil?
doing
Stop
what you
speaking.
accused him of doing.
Stop
so
speaking.
let me ask you, what is your view of Hamas post-October 7th?
I think that they, just like anybody else, have to be examined. Have to look at all.
What's
the
your
pros and cons.
opinion about them?
Yeah, I think that here's my opinion. Let me be straightforward about this, right? Anybody who kills civilians, anybody, whether it's the IDF, I'm consistent in this manner. If it's proven beyond reasonable doubt that these people have killed civilians in both of our faith traditions, in Islam and Judaism, in the Quran is mentioned, in the Prophet, he said it himself, you cannot kill a woman, you cannot kill a child. I condemn them. I condemn them. That's what I do. Straight away, whether he's Muslim, whether he's non-Muslim, whether he's Christian or anybody else. I've already said that. So I'm not being inconsistent here. My question is, if that is exactly the barometer that we're using, if that's the moral reasoning that we're using, then we have to say, look, if you have a 100-to-1 ratio, and that's what it is, a 100-to-1 ratio. And do you know how I got this figure? I got this figure from the IDF themselves because they have reported to
But let me ask you this. Does Hamas deserve to stay in power after what they did?
I don't think we should have Hamas in power. What I think we should...
Okay.
No, let me tell you...
So how
we should have
How do you get rid of them?
We should have a Palestinian Authority with bigger armies and airports with proper tanks and with airplanes like every country in the world.
You know what? You might be right. But here's the
Absolutely.
point.
They won't allow it.
How do you get
The Israelis won't allow
How do you
that.
get rid of Hamas?
What you don't do, I can tell you for a fact, is try and kill 30,000 of them with a 100-to-1 ratio. Because if you do that, then you're committing genocide. Because you'd have to kill 3 million Palestinians.
Rabbi Shmuley?
Do you even know the definition of genocide?
I haven't said genocide.
What's it? You just said it.
No, I said if you.
What is the definition of genocide? What's the definition?
I said if you do.
You always claim to be an academic. You're always touting your Oxford credentials. What is the definition
All right.
of
Conditional.
You said conditional.
Genocide
If you
is
do
where.
it,
Genocide is where.
you'll be genocidal.
Genocide is where
I didn't accuse.
Let him speak.
you target an ethnicity for extinction. Ethnicity side murder.
Yes, if you do it. If you kill
Excuse
3
me,
million
now,
Palestinians,
now.
are you genocidal
There
or
are
not? If you kill 3 million Palestinians, are you genocidal or not?
Don't speak over each other.
There are 1.8 million
Holocaust of genocide?
Muslim
What's the Holocaust of
Arabs who
genocide?
live in total peace in Israel as equal citizens. In fact, Israel practiced reverse discrimination against the Jews because the Jews are
What's that got to
conscripted
do
to
with my
fight
question?
Hamas. So, if
Would you-
Israel, excuse
okay.
me, no, you will not interrupt me.
Stop
If Israel,
it,
you
man.
will
Stop
not
it.
interrupt
Stop it,
me.
man. You're
You
embarrassing
will
yourself. You're
not
embarrassing
interrupt
yourself.
me. You will not
You're
interrupt me. You will
embarrassing
not bully me. You will not interrupt me.
stop
I am not
talking, man.
afraid of
You're
you.
insecure.
Stop
Stop
saying the
shaking.
Jews
Stop
tremble.
shaking.
Now, let me be
Stop
clear.
shaking.
Let me be
We're
clear.
getting nowhere if you shout over each other.
Well, then you need to control your guests with all due respect.
Literally
Okay,
control
he
both-
said
need to control both
he
guests.
said equal time, and there's no equal time. Now,
There's no equal time on
if
this
Israel
bet,
was
right?
interested in a genocide of the Palestinians, why do they have 1.8 million equal Arab Muslim citizens who are in the Israeli Supreme Court, who are 1/3 of the medical
Is that a
profession?
question?
Do you
To
know
me
that?
or
Do you
to
know that? Do you know that an Arab judge put the president of Israel in jail for accused rape? That was Moshe Katsav. That's how little Israel is an apartheid state, genocidal state. This man sitting next to me, Mohammed Hijab, will not distinguish between self-defense when Hamas comes to brutalize and murder your people versus when an army like Britain, like France, stops,
but Rabbi Shmuley,
retaliates
can we go
to
for the-
simply
can we
protect
go back
their
to the
citizens.
strike?
I have to
You
say-
don't believe that Jews should have a right to defend
Rabbi
themselves.
Shmuley,
Say it
Don't
outright
say
then.
that.
Then say it.
The Jews have the right to defend themselves.
They do.
Yes, they do,
So
of
that's
course.
why we have to go.
Everybody has a right to defend
So that's why
themselves.
we have
Jews
to
have
go
the right
into
to defend
Gaza to
themselves.
stop
wait.
Hamas.
Yes, they
correct?
can go to Gaza and
Rabbi
stop
Shmuley.
Hamas.
But
No, they
Rabbi
can go in, but
Shmuley.
don't. No, hey, hold on.
But-
Let me tell you my
Say
position.
it.
Let me tell you my.
So they can go in. Thank
He
God.
asked me a question.
Go
Can I
ahead.
Yes.
answer it? Yes, they can go into even fight. Even Abu Ubaidah, the general of Hamas, he said, "Nahnu fi intidharikum" in Arabic. We are waiting for you. That's what he's been
Okay.
saying. Hold on. You've asked me a question.
Go ahead.
They do have a right. What I've been advocating all along is face-to-face confrontation. What I'm against, hold on, excuse me. What I'm against is 100-to-1 ratio, because if you have 100,
we're going to come to this in block two.
All right. Okay, fine.
Hamas is hiding under hospitals.
Okay.
What face-to-face confrontation? Hamas is shooting children who are going south.
I'm okay with face-to-face confrontation. I like it.
Block two is exactly.
It's the honourable way.
Block two is exactly this question.
Go ahead, let's go.
My only observation,
he hasn't had
Rabbi Shmuley, so far, you're being more personal and ad hominem than he is.
With all due respect, I think that's extremely unfair, because every time I say anything, no, listen.
And you keep answering for him, and in fact, when you actually ask him questions,
because
he gives you straight answers.
If Mohammed Hijab wants to be a representative and ambassador of Islam, then he has to take responsibility for his position.
I don't want to be any of that.
He actually said that Islam believes in death. You're not going to beat us because we want to die. We're prepared to lose thousands of people. Is Islam really a religion of death? You are a poor ambassador of your faith. You believe in martyrdom.
Of course.
Do you want to be a martyr?
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to die fighting the Jews?
I didn't say Jews. Who said Jews?
Okay, you want to be a martyr where? What does it mean? Martyr means someone who dies for his faith.
The Prophet Muhammad told us, "Man qutila duna malihi fahuwa shaheed." Whoever dies defending themselves, defending their wealth, is a martyr. No.
Do you want to die defending Islam, but do you want Islam to be a religion of peace?
Hold on. This child for us is a martyr.
You're right.
Do you agree or not?
Because Hamas is using him as a human shield.
Really?
Yes, Hamas is hiding behind him.
Let's go to the next section.
Condemn Hamas.
All right, let's time out.
Come on, man.
Let's try not to talk over each other, because the viewers can't hear it, right? I don't mind the passion. I don't mind the debate. I don't mind the fire. I do mind if we can't hear what you're saying. It's pointless.
Let's do the minute.
Let's go to the second topic, right? This time,
has he had his minute, by the way?
Rabbi Shmuley, you will go first with a minute to say what you want to say, and then Mohammed Hijab, you'll get yours. Please? So the theme is this, and the question is this for Block 2. Has Israel gone too far in its response to the October the 7th terror attacks? Okay, Rabbi Shmuley, you have a minute starting now.
I just came here by taxi and passed the statue of Winston Churchill. That's in the lifetime of our parents, okay? He is the greatest British statesman of the 20th century. You know what he did when he had a genocidal threat, knowing that Hitler wanted to eviscerate, annihilate Britain? He carpet bombed all of Germany, Dresden, Essen, Hamburg. Israel has not even gotten close to that. Israel does not send its Air Force to carpet bomb cities. It sends in its military. I have a friend who died, six children, 39, because he was personally trying to stop a Hamas terror tunnel. Israel is surgical. Israel is only going after the fighters. Israel has opened humanitarian corridors for the Palestinians to go south. Hamas shoots them and makes sure they don't go. Hamas builds its military structures. Right, Shifa Hospital is this much hospital, and it's this much military. They love using Palestinians. And that's why they've stolen their money. They got about $16 billion from the international community. There isn't one bomb shelter in Gaza. They don't care about the civilians at all. Israel's doing the right thing.
Mohammed, you have a minute.
What I'm saying is the 100-to-1 ratio comes from the following figures. We know that 10,000 civilians have died. Of them, according to the IDF, as reported by The Guardian, dozens, they say, about 60 Hamas died, which we're being liberal by saying 100-to-1 figures. For every one Hamas, you have to kill 100 civilians. That's effectively what we're saying. If the trajectory continues as it is, then you have to kill 3 million Palestinian civilians in order to kill 30,000 Hamas fighters. If you want to extinguish them, eviscerate them, annihilate them, destroy them, you have to do that. Now, you have Herzog, who is the president that you interviewed, saying that all Palestinians, they are responsible. This man is being more slippery. He's being more slippery than the lubricants that he sells in his daughter's sex shop. And that's the reality of the situation.
Did you really just say that? You know, you seem obsessed with Jewish sex. It's bizarre. Yesterday, you actually spoke about Ben Shapiro's wife.
Yes,
you
I did.
actually you said
Yes,
to Ben
I did.
Shapiro,
Yes, I did.
your wife's a carrot. Well, you're more of a man. Is that what you're trying to
Yes,
say?
I did.
All right. Then you said that Jews have BDSM. You're speaking about sexual lubricants while people are dying. You know, Mohammed, get your head out of the Jewish bedroom. It's really bizarre.
Let me get it?
Let me be clear.
No.
Sexual lubricants? How embarrassing.
You sell dildos, don't you?
Can we get it back?
You sell dildos, don't you?
Can we get it back to the
You sell
topic?
dildos.
You speak about 5-year-old girls being ready for sex.
come on,
Listen, let's go back to the issue. Let's go back to the issue.
Let me ask a question.
Why are you shaking? I've got a vibrator in your pocket.
Come on, it's a serious debate.
I think he's got one of his daughters vibrating.
Come on, leave it, please.
You are just
It's stupid.
humiliating
We're
yourself.
going to cut all this
Back
stuff.
to the issue.
We'll cut all this stuff out. So there's no point.
Why? Why?
No,
Leave
don't
it.
cut it out.
People
It's
should see
uncensored,
what he
uncensored.
represents.
There's no
It is
point
uncensored.
abusing each other personally.
No,
Okay, Piers.
I want to stick to the debate.
Let's get to the debate.
You don't want to do it, we'll end the debate.
Let's get to the debate.
Right, let me ask Mohammed a question. Right, I don't disagree with you that so far it seems to me, obviously, a fact that many more Palestinian civilians, innocent people, are getting killed as retribution by the Israelis for what happened on October the 7th. That's indisputable, right? Their argument is that they're going after a terror organization, Hamas, and unfortunately in war, as Rabbi Shmuley correctly said about what Churchill did in World War II.
Churchill was wrong. Churchill was wrong.
Was he a war criminal?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Churchill was a war criminal.
Yes, he was. Churchill was a war criminal.
All the British
Let me
people
do
who
this
lived there
Churchill was a war criminal.
Okay.
Let me do
And
the
George
question.
VI was George VI a war
All of them
criminal?
war criminals.
George VI
Nagasaki,
war
all of them.
criminal.
Yes, of
So
course.
anyone,
his
hang on, Rabbi Shmuley.
War criminal.
Let me ask. So let me get this
Absolutely.
straight. You think
Collective punishment.
You think Winston Churchill
Was a war criminal, yes.
in standing up to the Nazis
By killing the
who
babies.
killed 12 million people?
I believe he was a war
that
criminal.
by doing what he did was a war criminal.
By killing in Dresden and Hamburg.
It's-
By the indiscriminate killing. Collective punishment. My morality says that's impossible.
Okay, that means the British people who
That's impossible.
supported him
You can't
and
kill
voted him
children.
in, they were
My
also...
morality says that's
just a second,
impossible.
just a second.
That's what I
But
believe,
the British
yes.
people...
Yeah.
You believe he was a war criminal?
Yes.
So therefore, your belief is that no retaliatory action.
No,
by
you can
any
retaliate to the man, not to the babies.
Tell me a war in history
Yes.
where civilians haven't been killed.
No, I'm not saying civilians haven't been killed. It's
Just
about this
war
ratio.
or
It's about the
otherwise?
ratio. It's
No,
about the
no,
ratio.
What is the ratio?
What about the
What's the
ratio?
100 to 1 is unacceptable.
Actually,
What is the
morally,
ra- what
100 to 1 is unacceptable.
actually, morally,
Would you accept?
Okay,
101 is an
101 is
hang
invention.
on, Rabbi Shmuley. So let me give you a ratio.
Yeah.
How many people did the Nazis kill?
I don't know.
You don't
12
know how
million.
many Nazis
We know they killed 6 million
They
Jews
killed
in the
12
Holocaust.
million people.
I don't know. We don't know.
Including
exactly.
6 million Jews.
Sure,
Right?
sure.
So
12 million
how many died in Dresden? How many civilians died in Germany? Do you know?
I don't know exactly.
Right, so you don't actually know what you're talking about.
I do know what I'm talking about because
You
I know in
called
Dresden
Churchill-
and Hamburg.
You said
if
it's
he's
about you. Unless I'm wrong.
Yeah, go ahead.
Unless I'm wrong,
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
said it's to do with the
Ratios.
The ratio.
Yes.
But you don't know the ratios. When
No,
you
no,
call,
I know for a fact
You
Dresden
call
and
Winston Churchill a
What are the
criminal.
numbers?
Dresden and Hamburg.
What are the
When you-
numbers? in
Wait
Dresden
a
and
minute,
Hamburg?
Rabbi Shmuley. When you
Dresden-
call Winston Churchill a criminal,
Yeah, I believe
you're
a war
basing
criminal.
it on ratios you don't even know what they are.
No, I know. There's difference of opinion among the scholars.
No, there isn't.
There is difference.
Tell us the
Of course.
opinions.
What do
What
you
are
mean
they?
that-
Tell us what they are.
Hold on. There's of
How many
course-
in Dresden?
Excuse me. Stop speaking for
How
me.
many in Dresden?
Am I speaking to him or
How
you?
many in Dresden?
Whatever the number.
You don't
if,
know
if
it
it's
all.
indiscriminate,
Okay.
I'm against it.
No, he doesn't.
That's
He
my
doesn't.
morality.
Rabbi Shmuley, you respond.
Dresden's about 25,000. And at the time, the Germans were saying 250,000. We know it's about 25,000 today. Let me be clear. Winston Churchill was the greatest statesman of the 20th century.
That's
He
an opinion.
saved the world from
I agree.
Nazi terror.
Yeah.
That you could live in a country that is only around today because of the bravery of that man showing no gratitude is the height of...
Stick on topic. Stick on topic.
And to call all the British people who defeated the Nazis,
Stick on topic.
Stop interrupting me.
Stick
Who
on topic.
defeated the
Please let each other
Nazis,
speak.
war criminals,
Stick on topic.
his parents, all the other
It's
people,
off topic,
war
off
criminals.
topic, off
Let me ask Rabbi Shmuley a
Is
question.
wrong. No. Let me be clear. Let me
Off topic, off topic.
Don't interrupt
let me
each
be
other.
clear. Mohammed Hijab trades in falsehoods. 300 to 1? What are you talking
100
about?
to 1.
And now he
I
says
said 100 to
now he
1.
says the Jews are about to kill 3 million Palestinians.
I didn't say they're about to. I said
the
if.
fact that this man considers
You don't
himself an
understand.
Oxford academic. I was the rabbi at Oxford University for 11 years. This
Did
is
you graduate
a
from there?
travesty.
Did you graduate from there?
This is a
Let
travesty.
me ask you a question,
graduate from
Rabbi
any
Shmuley.
university?
Wait a minute.
Did you graduate from any
I
university?
have a rabbinical
Did you
degree.
graduate?
Let me answer.
You're excommunicated.
Doesn't matter.
Well, you're
Let
excommunicated.
me answer.
Right? I saw you were excommunicated
Let me.
from the
I
rabbis.
am a
All right,
rabbinical.
honestly,
Can I speak?
This is pointless.
Go on.
Rabbi Shmuley, is there a limit to the number of civilians in Gaza that Israel can kill to try and
That's a
eliminate
good question.
Hamas?
That's a great question.
Yes, there is.
What's
Thank
the
you,
limit?
but let me ask you.
Not even one. Not one beautiful Palestinian child should have to die because Hamas kicked out Mahmoud
That wasn't
Abbas.
my question.
And not one should have to die. What the answer to your question is that Hamas, if they surrender unconditionally, then
Which they're not
all of
gonna
that.
do.
Okay, fine.
But is there a limit?
Then let them allow all the civilians.
Is there a limit?
Israel said that all the civilians can leave. All the civilians should go south. They begged them, and that's something that militaries never do. Churchill did not tell the people in Dresden, "Come on," and. You came with all your notes.
We get the point.
I'm not here.
We get the point, Mohammed. I get the point. I get the point.
This is all proof that he can't debate me. So he has to use these images. Debate me. We didn't ask you to come on with all your exhibits.
Rabbi Shmuley, let me ask you a question. A member of the cabinet in Israel was actually quoted as saying that nuclear weapons were an option that Israel could use. No one's ever confirmed Israel has nuclear weapons. It's long been suspected. That seemed pretty clear confirmation.
Why are you against nuclear weapons?
Hang on.
If you're not against Dresden, why are you against nuclear weapons?
Let me ask the question.
No, but why are you against it?
I've done this before, this job. Let me do it.
Go on.
Okay? So when that guy says that, if you're living as an innocent civilian in Gaza, what the hell are you thinking? That an Israeli government member threatens the use of a nuclear weapon, which would obliterate pretty much all of Gaza and everyone in it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the question. If that were true, why hasn't Israel used nuclear weapons against Nasser when he invaded?
It's true.
Well, hold on.
It's true this guy threatened
it. And the answer is no. I know the guy, and I spoke to him about it. His name is Amichai Eliyahu. Israel has never carpet bombed any Arab.
Hang on, Mohammed.
1967
ever. Now.
1967 was preemptive.
He was asked a question by a provocative interview, and he said, well, if you're going to bomb the same thing, it was a Mohammed Hijab type. You want to kill all the Arabs, 3 million people, just drop a bomb. He said, well, if you want to drop a bomb, drop a bomb. He was being dismissive and stupid, and he put out a statement the next day saying that never in history would the Jews ever even contemplate doing that. Let's remember one thing. The only place in the Middle East, one second, Piers, the only place in the Middle East where Arabs have any freedoms, Israel. The only place where they vote openly, Israel. The only place where Palestinian women can dress the way they want, Israel. And let's be clear, when Mohammed Hijab gets up and says that we Palestinians want to be a religion of death, you know, I just got a haircut coming here by an Arab barber here in London, and he said to me, I hope you defeat this guy because he doesn't represent us. We want to live. We want to have good lives. We want to be religious. We want to eat halal. But we don't want to die for martyrdom. You are not a Muslim. You're an Islamist.
Let me ask Mohammed a question. Let me ask Mohammed a question. Hamas has 240 hostages. Hamas has 240 hostages they took, including babies, young kids, grandmothers who survived the Holocaust. I mean, an unspeakable further criminal act. We can agree, right?
Of course.
Why should Israel agree to any ceasefire so long as those hostages are still being kept hostage?
Look, my position is very clear. They should fight man to man on the ground. On the ground.
Well, they are.
That fighting.
That's exactly what they're doing.
That fighting, no one can. This is
Mohammed, that's exactly what they're doing.
I know.
Man to man, they took hostages.
Excuse me.
They took babies as hostages.
He's asked me the question.
They took infants as hostages.
Let him answer the question.
You're getting excited here. I know it's your sexuals implying you're the sex rabbi.
Now you're back to my sex life.
You're getting overexcited.
Get your head out of my bedroom.
He's getting excited with me.
Let me ask the questions. You guys answer them. Mohammed, answer my question. Why, if you're Israel, would you ever agree to a ceasefire if those hostages aren't released?
I'm telling you what my position is. My position is man-to-man combat.
Which is what they're doing now.
No, that part of it is understandable. Do you understand?
That's what they're doing.
No problem. But what I think is not understandable, what is not acceptable, because you said, what's a proportionate response? That's the question you keep asking everybody. My answer to you is a proportionate response is one in which the ratios are not 100 to 1.
That's your invention.
Excuse me, please.
Where does that come from? What's your source?
Okay,
tell me the source. Tell me the source.
IDF.
The IDF. Yeah, sure. Tell me when did they say it?
They said,
I know all the IDF spokespersons.
I know
Jonathan Conricus. Daniel Hagari said what? When?
Okay, so let me...
No.
Excuse me.
When did he say we're killing Palestinians 100 to 1?
10 days ago, and it's mentioned on a website. I'll tell you
the truth is, they don't...
He never said this is pure fabrication.
Let me finish. You asked me a source.
Which website?
You asked me a source.
Which website?
You asked me a source.
Al Jazeera?
No.
Is it Al Jazeera?
You've asked me a question, right?
Okay.
Are you scared to hear the response?
Go ahead.
Okay, the response is as follows. The Guardian has reported that the IDF have said that in terms of the numbers of Hamas that have been killed, I'm answering this question.
I know.
The Hamas that have been killed, they say, quote unquote, dozens. Now listen.
Hamas or civilians? You said civilians.
No,
wait a minute.
You said civilians.
Wait a minute.
I'm telling you where I got the 100 to 1 ratio.
Mohammed.
100 to 1 ratio comes from
the numbers have
invented it.
10,000 civilians. The numbers 60. It's actually more than 100 to 1.
As soon as you call him out on anything, he has no sources.
No one can hear what he's saying.
Okay.
Let me respond to him.
This is a blood libel,
Let me respond.
Piers. The Jews have a right to respond
I'm about
to a blood
question
libel.
him.
It's a blood libel.
Here's the reality. I read that report. That was about at least 2 weeks ago, right?
10 days,
The numbers have changed a lot.
Yes, they have.
Israel now believe they've killed a lot more Hamas. They don't know exactly how many, because actually, how do you tell on the ground
By the way, Piers,
to the Hamas fighter and a member of the general population?
Do you know, according to the IDF, and we've done a study on the name that they put on X, they had 1,280 names that they put on X, and according to Haaretz, they put Haaretz is, as you know, is a left-wing newspaper in Israel. They also put the names of those who have been killed. Guess what? According to them, 340 military have been killed, which means Hamas's ratio of combatant to non-combatant is 3-1.
All right.
Imagine Hamas is doing a better job in protecting civilians than Israel. 3-1 versus
I would say that Hamas, by what they did on October the 7th,
100-1 versus 3-1.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Ordered by doing what they did, they ordered de facto the disintegration of northern Gaza that we're seeing.
Of course.
And
all the civilians
and the
suffering.
deaths
Have you seen
and the
Piers?
deaths
Piers,
of thousands of civilians.
Let him finish.
They knew what was going to happen.
I agree
Piers,
with that.
Piers,
So that's why they should go.
Piers,
Rabbi Shmuley.
in 2005, Israel unilaterally withdrew from Gaza and allowed, Hamas won an election in 2006. They could have built Singapore. You know what they did? They took larger foreign aid per capita than all of Europe received from the Marshall Plan. And look what France and Britain, look how beautiful London is. They took that money and they bought bullets and bombs. They did not build hospitals, not schools. They stole it from the Palestinian people. Ismail Haniyeh is worth $4 billion.
I don't care about
Khalid Mashal is worth $4 billion.
Why are you talking about him?
Call him an evil criminal. You're afraid to. He says he won't. You see, he will never condemn Hamas because
he has condemned
Hamas. Go ahead.
I've
heard him do it.
Excuse me.
No. He condemned Hamas's attack. He's never condemned Hamas.
Well, let me ask you, do you condemn Hamas?
On what basis?
Here we go. See?
No, hold on.
Play his game.
You accept now
let me ask you a question.
Every answer is on what basis? On what this? On this? What's your source?
Let him
Even
answer.
if you ask me, if you do condemn the IDF, I'd say specify your context. In what exact context
do you defend Hamas as a terrorist organization that just went and killed 1,200 people, burned them alive, beheaded them, and took 250 hostages? Do you condemn them or not? Do you condemn them or not? Get your head into the debate, and do you condemn them or not? See, this is a debating tactic.
It's 2-on-1 now.
Let him answer.
Let him answer.
It's 2-on-1. It's become 2-on-1.
Let him answer.
You're not a victim. Stop the victim, but now it's 2-on-1. Stop the victim. You love portraying yourself as a strong man. Now you're a victim, it's 2-on-1. You probably could take 2-on-1. So answer it. Answer the question. Is Hamas a terror organization you condemn? Yes,
is that something you and your
is
daughter
Hamas
said?
a terror organization
Probably can take 2-on-1.
that you...
It's a reasonable question because you asked me, is the IDF a terror
Okay, beautiful. I'll answer your question directly. Hamas is as much a terrorist organization. No, Hamas shouldn't be called a terror organization if the IDF isn't. Why?
Okay.
Because if it's either both or not.
There we are. This is
either both or neither.
Okay, but just to extrapolate your position, because you believe the IDF is, then you're also saying that Hamas is.
Let me tell you my position.
Say it.
Hang on.
Say it. Say it.
I'm not going to speak.
Rabbi Shmuley, let me get the answer.
The unholy Shmuley won't let me speak.
Right, I'm asking you a question.
At least that was funny. That was the first rhyme you did the whole time. Maybe we could be friends.
Let me ask
it again.
Given you've already stated you believe the IDF is a terror organization.
Yeah.
Am I to assume
legally or morally?
that you believe...
Legally or morally?
Well, hang on.
Go on.
Am I to assume that you believe Hamas is now?
No, this is my position. But you have to give me 10 seconds at least to answer, right? Legally, I think you shouldn't call Hamas a terrorist organization if you're not calling IDF a terrorist organization. That's my position.
But you do both. Call them terror organizations.
Hold on.
Let him answer.
Hold on, let me finish. Because as we said, the UN definition of what a terrorist organization is to kill civilians in order to achieve a political objective. However, on a moral and theological, philosophical level, I agree with Rosalind Higgins, who was the justice of the International Criminal Court, right? The Court of Justice, ICJ, a British justice. By the way, she was a Holocaust survivor as well. She was Jewish.
Yeah.
And her position is that she believes that the word terrorism or terrorist is actually useless. And she says that I'm putting to her...
Can you answer my question?
He's going on for 10 minutes just to evade the question.
Let me finish. So I'm answering your question. So I'm saying that as a moral construct, I think it's a neo-colonial social construct used by people in order to label some people as terrorists and other people as well. So as a moral category, I don't designate it as a moral category.
As a legal category. Do you believe, you personally, Mohammed Hijab, do you believe that the IDF and Hamas are both terror organizations?
I think yes. If you say yes to IDF, you should say yes to Hamas. If you say no to IDF,
I'm asking you what you believe.
Hamas is a terrorist organization.
What you believe.
If you say yes to IDF, you can say yes to Hamas.
I'm asking you what you